Welcome everybody to Scrap Talkin with Kevin McKay, episode 6. Big year. We have covered a lot of content, Kevin. And before you give an introduction to yourself, I just want to say that this is the first time, really, in death care history that a recycling company has been this transparent and educational with content at scale. So kudos to you and just stepping out and shouldering that and being transparent. Just about almost every month we're getting on here having a conversation. And you've really educated heavily on, what does it mean to recycle? We've talked about reporting and assay reports, and you showed machines and like all the stuff. So give a quick introduction to yourself, but I wanted to give you that kudos and a round of applause, man, because not every company is going to be transparent like that. And I applaud you for taking that role.
Yeah, well, I mean, I appreciate that, and definitely appreciate the platform because without that, then I'm just talking to myself. So it works. It works well. It goes hand in hand, and yeah, that's always been my mo is that it makes it so much easier to do business as it is. These last 5 years as we've really become the industry leader is because we've been so open and really peeled back the curtain and said,
Yeah.
here's what you wouldn't even know to ask. So now you do. So, go out into the world and explore and come back. And anytime you have questions, I'm always happy to answer. And if somebody's been tuning in to every episode that we've had, they're not an expert yet, but they're certainly a lot more educated because you're right.
Yeah.
We've definitely covered a lot. And I think we've almost covered all of these sort of basics that make up the potential for a successful recycling program. So yeah.
Yes, for sure. And I'll say this too, from just a marketing and branding perspective, statistically, why has this been so valuable for you and for us and just the profession in general is, statistically speaking, there's 70% more trust when somebody can see your eyes.
Hmm.
So when you create this way and you're transparent, there's immediately more trust just by the eye connection virtually. So yeah, good stuff all the way around. All right. We are coming to the end of 2023 and we have covered a lot, but what do we need to know? And I think this is super impactful because we were talking offline about this, but what do we need to know going into 2024?
Well, I recently had a conversation or mini summit where I was talking to some funeral leaders, and what dawned on me is something that it really isn't talked about a lot, which is the market price and the impact the market shifts can have, and specifically gold and palladium. And palladium still seems to be a metal that people don't instinctively think of or even aware of. Gold, obviously, everybody knows, but palladium, not so much. So
Hmm.
I thought to really sort of educate people a little bit more about that, and I figured that'd be a great topic for us.
Yeah.
Start what is palladium and why, as a funeral professional, are we talking about palladium? This might be a little redundant for some, but gold and palladium are the two primary metals that are used or were used in dental prosthetics. They still are, but again, in death care, we're talking about what happened 30 years ago, not what's happening today, as far as dental and recycling is concerned. So palladium is a platinum group metal. So there are six metals that fall under the category of platinum on the periodic table of elements. It's almost like 80% of it, close to, is used in the automotive sector to create catalytic converters, which convert toxic fumes into non-toxic. Okay, so carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide. Um, the rise in electric vehicles, so EVs, has done away with the need for these catalytic converters because they don't have this exhaust. So we saw in 2022 coupled with the unrest in, with Russia and countries putting sanctions on them, we saw an enormous shortage of palladium. So the demand was still there to create these catalytic converters, and there wasn't a great option for these automakers to go elsewhere to get this palladium. So we saw palladium, which historically 20 something years ago was a $200 an ounce metal, and it was trading about 5 years ago at about $1,000 an ounce, and it just kept going up and up to where March of 22 it was at an all-time high of $3,340 per ounce, and we thought this who knows where this is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then with companies like Volvo or VW, I can't remember who it is, really pushing that by 2030 they're no longer going to create gas-powered engines. Maybe this vision of, at some point in time we're just going to stop needing this. They kept mining this metal, and so that shortage turned into a surplus. And 23, there's no doubt an enormous surplus. 24, it looks like there's going to be a huge surplus as well. So we saw the price of palladium go from $3,300 an ounce to today trading just above $1,000 an ounce. So what does that mean to crematory owners who have this metal that they just, weren't even, really accustomed to having or aware of? If you took a settlement and you had 10 ounces of palladium, just to make it really simple, if you had 10 ounces of palladium a year and a half ago, you had $30,000, $33,000 worth of palladium. If you had that exact same lot today, because you didn't make any changes, you're still dealing with the same demographics in your community, and your volume hasn't really gone up, and you send in a settlement that had about 10 ounces of palladium, it'd be worth about $10,000 today. So the higher volume locations that might do a settlement 3 and 4 times a year, you just can do that math right there and say that could be a difference of 50, 70, $100,000 on an annual basis. But even the small guy, it can have a pretty big impact. In summary, we would typically set reasonable expectations for crematory owners, saying you should be able to generate about $50 per cremation. Now we've dialed that back to as little as $35 per cremation, because the palladium market has had that big of an impact.
Wow. Wow. It's wild how it fluctuates. Like as you were explaining this to me, I was like, holy cow, it's like you almost have to be a stock trader every morning, like looking and seeing where the fluctuation in price is. But I mean, that transparency is huge, because I don't know that, I don't imagine there's a lot of crematory owners sitting out there watching metal prices on a daily basis.
Probably not. I mean, it's there's a lot of the folks that you and I talk to and market to, are pretty financially savvy. So, but they might be looking at the S&P or individual stocks, and they just don't think to look at what's the precious metal market doing, and then, hey, why is palladium down? And then sort of digging into this is why. So, there are reasons why this happens. Gold tends to be a good hedge for, when the economy isn't doing great. Precious metals as a whole tend to go up. When the economy is super strong, tends to go down a little bit. But COVID, would have suggested that, global pandemic and, a difficult economy, we were on the verge of standing in line for bread, and, gold should have been $10,000 an ounce, and it went down. So
Mm.
it didn't really make much sense. Ultimately, it started to go up, but to answer your point, there is, if they're not really keeping their eye on it, they can always call in, and I'm happy to give them that, a little 5-minute sort of overview of why something is happening the way it is. And no, I don't have a crystal ball. I have no idea exactly where it's going to go. I can just say, hey, if the car makers aren't going to need catalytic converters anymore, and palladium has gone down, probably suggest it's going to continue to go down.
Yeah. That's great. Well, I love it. And you and I talked about some cool things we could roll out related to this in 2024, just to keep the profession more educated around the fluctuation in precious metals and what does that mean. And, I think about it with a crematory owner, I mean, the difference of $10,000 a year of just when they send in their settlements. I mean, that's a big deal. Like that can really hit a bottom line or determine how they're going to give or what they're going to do with that settlement. So I think it's important information, and I'm glad somebody like you is willing to give us that information and actually understand why you know a change like the ripple effect of a car dealer going, hey, we're going to make all electric vehicles, just the ripple effect of that across the board is wild. So
Yeah.
thank you for that insight.
Yeah, there's a confluence of things there, with the unrest in Russia that happens to be the largest, producer of palladium, coupled with, an economy not being super strong. So, car sales, may have gone down while, coinciding with EVs really going up in sales. So it's like all these
Mm-hmm.
things coming together that for a moment was a flash in the pan. It was, palladium trading at a crazy high dollar amount to, coming right back down to earth. So there was a really good period here for a couple of years where crematories were getting, we were looking like absolute superstars. And I would even temper it and say, hey, look, we're great. And we are, your number one option, but, let's rein it in a little bit. This is,
Yeah,
you're taking advantage of a really high market right now. There are going to be tougher times ahead, probably. So,
that's great. Awesome. Well, so thank you. Thank you so much for just transparency this year, having these conversations. As we kind of wrap up this episode, what's some parting words of advice that you have?
well, just to maybe keep your eye on the markets. As I said, I'm always happy to talk about this stuff, but this is stuff that you can, readily get on, a number of websites out there. If you want to dig into it a bit more, call me because I can explain some of the minutia behind it
Yeah.
that doesn't cover. And I'm always happy to talk about options for any of our crematory clients. Like you don't necessarily have to sell your metal if you want to kind of watch the market and see what it could do.
Mm.
So I'm happy to go over those options as well. And we have some clients that take advantage of that say, hey, I don't necessarily need the money right now. I kind of want to see where this market goes. Just hold on to it for me. It's good to know that it's been, so don't hold on to 10 barrels. Still send in your scrap as you normally would, get it properly recycled, and then know exactly how much of it you have. And in an instant, you can sell some or all of that metal when it hits a price point that you're looking for.
Love it. Awesome. Well,
And,
Kevin, thank
and
you
and
so
I will say
much.
too, thank you so much for this opportunity. It has been really cool. I love talking, and I love talking about this, and it's great to do it with somebody like you, who's definitely a trailblazer in this, and somebody who likes to get out there and get after it, and talk about things that maybe just aren't being talked about. So we love the platform, and it's such a good one to be a part of.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's fun. I enjoy doing this, and I like to talk as well. And I love to learn, and I've learned so much about a part of this profession that really wasn't on my radar at all. I mean, I don't have a crematory. These I love learning about the things that we don't think about every single day. And I think it's a great thing for the entire profession, whether you have a crematory or not. Just, so many more crematories are opening up and funeral homes are opening crematories on a daily basis. Like just to be aware of all the things that are attached to that. It's so valuable. And the profession's going through so many shifts that every dollar matters, and from growth and valuations and all the things. So I think it's just super valuable to have experts that are the best of the best and the best at what they do be able to come on a platform and educate at scale. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to have you on.
Yeah, next year in 24, maybe we'll find a way to have you here at our facility to do one of the scrap talking.
100%.
Yeah,
I would
so
love that.
that'd be a cool on location one. So
Done. We'll make it happen.
cool.
Awesome, Kevin. All right. Thank you so much.